Hi, this is the bad boy, Joey Janela, and you're listening to the Going in Raw podcast. Joey Janela always goes in.
This is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and you are listening to Going in Raw.
Hey everyone, Kenny Omega here. In case you didn't know, we have an awesome kick-butt show called Stephen Larson's Going in Raw, and they're going to be supporting AEW every week amongst many other things. Goodbye and smooch. Good night. Bye-bye.
Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here, youtube.com/Stephen Larson, available wherever podcasts can be found. Of course, taped live, the Twitch, twitch.tv/Stephen Larson. What a day in AEW land, Larson. Earlier today, it was reported by Fightful that CM Punk is in discussions with AEW to return to wrestling. And then today, Bryan Danielson is reported to have already signed with AEW. What's going on? What are the specifics here?
So this is from Cassidy Haynes over at bodyslam.net. Bodyslam.net is reporting that the following, quote, an update as to the future of Bryan Danielson, formerly known as Daniel Bryan. A source I have spoken to has told me he is locked in and has 100% already signed a contract with AEW. In addition, I was told that Danielson was wanting to work less dates for comparable money. He wanted the ability to be able to work in Japan and wanted to have creative input on his character, which he got. There are also tentative plans already in place for Danielson's AEW debut. In a subsequent report, bodyslam.net has some details on those plans. This is what they said, quote, we were told tentative plans creatively for Daniel Bryan's AEW debut. As of this time of writing, which was tonight, the plan is for Bryan Danielson to make his AEW debut on September 22nd when AEW heads to Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York City. Pretty huge. Pretty awesome.
That is
pretty massive.
Massive. That is rad. That is absolutely... I mean, nothing is really shocking anymore. This is why I thought it was PW Insider on our second take, because it was PW Insider that said there were no merchandise or action figure plans in place for Bryan within WWE for the remainder of the year, which led to speculation that he was going to be returned. That's what I got. Nothing can be shocking anymore, Larson. Nothing really can be shocking anymore. AEW obviously has impressed a great many people. Everybody seems to enjoy working there. Tonight's episode honestly felt like what is traditionally known as like a Raw after Mania. It's like, holy crap, they brought everything tonight. Like, we've got a lot to talk about. But that coupled with tonight's episode, coupled with the CM Punk stuff from earlier today, and then Body Slam with the Bryan Danielson stuff, is it's absolutely a nuts time in wrestling. All Out should be an absolutely crazy show.
You got that right.
The rest of this year is going to be great. It's going to be great for wrestling fans. It's going to be great for wrestling podcasts like us, just to enjoy it and to have lots of great stuff to talk about, and fantasy matches and dream matches this is absolutely really, really great stuff. Hopefully it's all true, and hopefully it all comes to fruition.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
Hope so.
So let's talk about Dynamite, because like I said, holy moly,
a lot happened.
What a great show! This was honestly like the most stacked Dynamite that in my memory, anyways.
I think just last week I was putting over how well paced last week's show was, because it was bang, 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 no let up. The crowd fed off the show fed off the crowd, and for the second week in a row, they've managed to do the same thing all over again, where it's really well paced. It never lets up. There's never a dull moment. Because of the energy the show brings, the crowd brings energy, which infuses more energy into the show itself. Top to bottom, just really fun stuff. I never really thought, despite rumors that he was going to show up at AEW at one point, never really thought I'd see Nick Gage in AEW. Sure enough, he's going to have a match next week against Chris Jericho. I know he's not a huge name now, but Chavo Guerrero showing up to work with Andrade is awesome. Chavo is great. There's just And then I didn't figure we'd see a title change tonight in the main event. Not only was it absolutely bonkers, but we got a new IWGP US champion in Lance Archer.
Yeah, really, really spectacular match. I'm a big fan of Archer.
Same.
And I thought that, obviously a death match, a lot of that stuff mirrored their death match in Tokyo. It was absolutely spectacular. They booked Archer the way he really needs to be booked and should have been booked this entire time, just as an absolute death machine.
A murder hawk monster, if you will.
When he got up from that Death Rider and flipped him the bird and just right there on TV said, "Fuck you." Oh my gosh.
It was great.
It
was great. And it's finally he got that huge win that he's been needing basically since he didn't beat Cody for the TNT title.
That choke slam on the chair backs. Oh God. Why would a guy do that? That sucked. That sucks so bad.
That looked like it sucked really bad.
I leapt out of my chair for that one, and then the actual finish, I leapt out of my chair, and I was pretty happy about that. That was pretty. That was something else, man.
Yeah, same. I like how you mentioned this. They're callbacks to their Tokyo Dome Wrestle Kingdom death match, especially the finish, where in that match, and I think even a match in AEW, Mox did the paradigm shift off the apron through the two tables, and he's like, "I'm gonna up the ante this time. Let's put some barbed wire on him." And it ended up taking that time to do that, and ended up costing him the match. I like those little details,
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's man, the freedom that they get in AEW to tell those stories, and I mean, that's not a knock on WWE. Their wrestlers are able to tell those kind of stories as well. But it's always fun, regardless of the promotion, to see that happen. I really like it.
Same.
So yeah, I mean, dude, there's, we can talk about every segment because basically every segment had something in it. But I mean, let's just start off at the beginning. The Labors of Jericho kick us off with Chris Jericho versus Shawn Spears, the chairman, who's allowed in this match to have chair. And when he tries to use it, Jericho basically is able to counter it.
Well, first, before the match started, like a real highlight of the show for us before the match even began, when Chris Jericho was making his entrance, who do we see singing along to Judas?
Oh, dude, Deadlock's own Pulse.
Yeah, man, that was great.
Check out the Deadlock podcast. It's one of my favorites. It's so damn good.
Yes.
And Pulse is a friend of ours.
Yep.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Awesome to see him there.
Dude. Awesome dude.
Yeah.
That was great.
Knows all the words to Judas.
Anyways, I just wanted to interrupt for that one little thing. Carry on.
No, I'm glad you mentioned that. So anyways, when Spears finally gets to use that chair, he swings it at Jericho. Jericho takes him down, puts him in the walls. Tully comes to distract. Sammy runs him off. Spears he gets Jericho up on his like fireman carry with like the chair on it. It's just loosely cobbled together. Tries for a C4 with both those things, but it just falls apart. Jericho sends him into a chair that had been wedged in the corner earlier, and bouncing off that, he gets a Spears eats a Judas effect. 4-3. And this was shy. So MJF was on commentary the whole time. He's pretty good. And he comes out. He says, no, stop that music. Stop that music. He says, listen, next week for his second labor, he's like, because evidently you don't like playing according to the rules, Jericho. I've got a guy who doesn't know how to play by the rules. He's a man who's robbed a bank and stabbed a man in his jugular. And immediately everybody knows in the wrestling world who that is. And Nick Gage comes out and he's got the pizza cutter with him.
He's got the pizza cutter with him. Yeah. And Jericho looks like he's about to crap his pants if he hadn't already.
Jericho's reaction was great.
He's like, oh gosh.
I'm in
trouble.
Not into that.
No, he wasn't. But he had some time to reflect, and later on he seemed to have steeled himself for the battle that's going to ensue next week.
It's got a response. We'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. So after that, we had a Miro promo. This one was pretty quick. He said there have been many champions before him, but there'll be none after him. And he says, at Homecoming, God's favorite champion will fight. Who can beat him? These are the words of the Redeemer. He's so good.
Mm-hmm. Who do you think Homecoming's going to be a stack show too?
Yeah.
We get our Cody Malakai Black match there.
I'm guessing the sense that's going to be like the not only Homecoming in the sense they're back at Jacksonville. They made a point of saying tonight that's going to be their first show there for a while. So I imagine as kind of a thank you to the fans there, they're going to pull out all the stops. I would suspect.
After that,
but I don't know. As far as specifics, I don't know.
Oh yeah, like who's it going to be? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm still convinced it's going to be a little while, but I'm convinced that it's going to be Jungle Boy that eventually takes it off him.
Miro's going to have that belt for a while.
He's probably going to have that title for a little while, yeah. But they got to start. This isn't just because of my feelings about Christian Cage. They got to stop making him the focal point of Jurassic Express, man.
That's the story, though. That's the story they're doing with
there. He got to pat him on the shoulder today. That was all Jungle Boy really got.
I know,
to do
but I think
tonight.
that's the story is because as we saw last week when Christian Cage got on Luchasaurus' shoulder, Jungle Boy was not too happy about that.
Yeah, dude.
That's the story they're telling.
He's like, you're not Edge. After that, we had Doc Gallows versus Elite Hunter Frankie Kazarian, and this match was whatever. It was fine. Really was made to set up the next bit here. Because Carl Anderson distracts. Gallows hits a sit-out powerbomb for 3 to get the win. Mm-hmm. And then Callis and Omega come down. It was pretty funny. Kenny gets on the mic and it said, "For months, you've been a thorn in our side, Frankie. The Elite Hunter. Ha ha. Oh, boy, how the tables have turned. Because the Elite Hunter has become, and Callis has to get in his ear.
Yeah.
He says, oh, that's right. The Elite Hunter has become the Elite Hunted.
That was pretty great.
Know how to phrase it.
That was so good.
Of course, he loads up the title, and Cal's is like, "Yeah, look what we're about to do to you, Kazarian." So they're about to really destroy.
They're about to make an example
Hunter
out of Kazarian because they said, "Hey, Paige, this is what you can expect."
Mm-hmm. So Paige comes out. Hangman comes out. He's got his beer. Enters the ring. Cal says, "There's 4 of us and 1 of you, and I know cowboys aren't very bright. Are you stupid or drunk?" And Hangman didn't have a mic on him, and I wish they had this segment mic'd up because he clearly says both, and he gives Callis the beer. Tries to take out the Good Brothers, but they get the upper hand, and the Good Brothers beat him down. Then the Dark Order come out to make the save there.
Yep, and then Paige ends up hitting Carl Anderson with the buckshot lariat. After that, we have a Brian Cage interview, but before he gets asked a question, we go to a Team Taz announcement. They've crowned a new FTW champion, and now Starks says he wants to invite everybody to a celebration next week in Charlotte. He says, being from New Orleans, I know a thing or two about partying. He said he's going to show up and show out in absolute fashion. He'd go back to Cage, and Cage asks if Team Taz is still there in the arena. No. All right. So he says, so next week there's going to be a celebration for Starks. That works out. I love celebrations.
Yeah.
So he's going to crash it. He's going to crash the celebration.
I'm assuming he's going to crash the celebration. Is he going to have a shirt on or off, Larson? Because in this, just watching TV, he had the shirt on.
I mean, watching AEW TV leads me to believe that he doesn't own a single shirt.
That could be. That's very possible. And if he does, it's like a Swolverine shirt.
Yeah.
After that, we had Darby Allin with FPOS rib tape on versus Wheeler Yuta. And they showed Hikuleu in the crowd.
Yeah.
And the high point of this match, it was a good match, but the high point of this match clearly was Orange Cassidy being out there with, and Sting, of course, being out there.
Oh, gosh, that was so good.
And they have a face-off, very dramatic. Oh. Orange Cassidy hits some of his very lazy kicks.
He does his hands in pockets, yeah.
Does the hands in pockets. And then Sting, they both load up for their own lazy super kicks. They both give lazy super kicks in tandem.
Yeah, I like that Sting was the first one to do the shin kick. After the hands in pocket, Sting did the lazy shin kick. And they exchanged
they trade those. And then he does the laziest Sting chest bump. He goes,
oh, it was so good.
It was so hilarious. And the funny thing is about it, Darby gets distracted by it for a second. He's like, what's going on out here?
It was so
Yuta goes for the roll up. Darby gets out of that, hits a stunner and a coffin drop for the win there.
Yeah, it was a fun match. And then afterwards, the Blade, who has a match with Orange Cassidy later in the show, runs out, hits Cassidy with some brass knuckles. We have Lance Archer, Mox video package hyping up their main event tonight. And then we get the women's title match, Nyla Rose versus Britt Baker.
Mm-hmm.
This was pretty. There's parts of it that worked that I really enjoyed. There's a couple bits that are a little clunky.
Yeah, there were.
A little clunky. Yeah. Down the stretch though, Britt, she runs into a choke slam. She kicks out of that, then hits a crucifix bomb that gets her a 2 count. Then she hits another crucifix roll up. Gets a 2 there, and then Britt hits a pair of stomps, gets her a 2 count. She runs into a forearm, Rebel gets on the apron to distract. Britt goes and grabs the title. She throws it to Nyla. Bump. She does the Eddie Guerrero thing. But Vicky is down there. She grabs the ref's ankle so he can't turn around and see what happened. And while that's going on, Nyla tosses the belt back to Britt and is like in a position saying, "Don't do it. Don't hit me with it." And the ref turns around, and he doesn't DQ Britt. Just kind of admonishes her. That allows Nyla to hit a beast bomb. Britt kicks out. Nyla goes for another. Britt escapes, sinks in lockjaw to get the win.
Yeah. I'm just speculating here. It's kind of a long match. Maybe it's easy to get lost in the spots. I don't know how wrestling works.
I don't know either.
So I'm figuring out a reason.
Let's take a quick break here to get a word in from the sponsor of today's show, BetterHelp. Several years ago, while dealing with severe anxiety, I learned the importance of talking to a therapist, but also discovered that it could be extremely difficult to find the right person to talk to. Today, BetterHelp is providing a safe and private online environment where your needs will be assessed and you'll be matched with your own licensed personal therapist.
BetterHelp isn't a crisis line, nor is it self-help. It's professional counseling done securely online, all without having to ever sit in another uncomfortable waiting room.
BetterHelp is dedicated to facilitating great therapeutic matches. Send your counselor messages at any time or schedule regular weekly phone or video sessions, and they've made it free and easy to change therapists if needed.
And you don't have to limit yourself to counselors in your area. BetterHelp services are available worldwide, so you can find the expertise you need regardless of location.
We want you to start living a happier life today. As a Going In Raw listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/raw. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health.
Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw.
Before we get back to the show, let's get a word in from the sponsor of today's show, Amazon Music. Since all the friendos out there are listening to this show, it's safe to assume you all love podcasts, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, you'll find tons of podcasts, including this one, Going In Raw, on Amazon Music.
That's right. Amazon Music has more than 10 million free podcasts to listen to. But that's not all. They also have thousands of music stations and great playlists to stream for free.
Yeah, man. If you're like Larson and love your music on demand and ad-free, you got to give Amazon Music Unlimited a try. It gives you unlimited access to a lot of songs, and I mean a lot of songs, like 75 million. Wow. That's a lot. As well as podcasts, music videos. Remember music videos, Steve?
I loved them.
Great. And so much more.
And with Amazon Music Unlimited, you can listen to any song anywhere, whether it be in the car, walking your dog, doing wind sprints, anywhere, offline, and with unlimited skips.
Or you can listen to podcasts like Going In Raw while pumping iron like I do. Yes, I listen to our show while I'm lifting weights in my garage. Wow. So if you've never tried Amazon Music Unlimited, now is a great time. For a limited time, new customers can try Amazon Music Unlimited free for 30 days. No credit card required. Just go to Amazon.com/GIR.
That's Amazon.com/GIR to try Amazon Music Unlimited free for 30 days. Amazon.com/GIR. Renews automatically. Cancel anytime. Terms apply. After that, we had a truncated, apparently the full version of this. I think I saw somebody in chat mention the full version of this, I think is on YouTube.
Oh, all right.
FTR. I just think the show was so packed that they truncated the hell out of this. FTR and LAX press conference with no press and no questions. So I think Dak starts off saying something, and Santana
he
says
the four of them aren't all that different.
That's right.
He says, I respect Santana Ortiz as wrestlers, but as a man, they don't get any of my respect. And then Ortiz is saying, essentially saying, hey, while you were off in WWE, we were here at AEW from the beginning.
And then Santana just starts pulling out like a photo album. He's like, hey, look at this. It's a picture of my mom after she had me. She was 15. Look at this picture right here. This is my mom's apartment. It was a piece of trash place. And then look at this newspaper clipping or something. I don't even know what that last bit was. Yeah, you couldn't really
tell what it was. If it was like some legal paperwork or a newspaper clipping, yeah. Or he's like, this is my mom taking slumlords to court so we can have a decent place to live or something like that. Yeah.
What is this? What does any of this have to do with wrestling? Because then Dax just yells back, I believe in three things: God, family, and professional wrestling. something like that, wasn't it? Like
God, yeah. He says, I only care about three things: God, my family, professional wrestling. And we're gonna show up next week and beat your ass.
I'm like, nobody's really like, they're just talking and not saying anything. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it feels like they were having two different conversations and they somehow edited it together.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But if it was longer and it was, truncated, then that would make sense.
Yeah, I just think that they're probably just trying to pack so much stuff in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jorge says like he pulled out the pictures, but the camera didn't even show any of the pictures to the audience. He was just pulling out pictures randomly. I'm like, you're younger than us. Like, what? You have like pictures from like the 1980s or 70s or something? What's going on here? I don't know. Anyways, after that we had an Andrade promo. Mm-hmm. He comes out and he says, or it's supposed to be an interview basically, but it turns into sort of a promo. He says, to everybody, he says, tranquilo, hold on a second. He says, before we start, Andrade has a surprise for everyone. Because everybody crapped on the idea of Vicky Guerrero being my executive consultant, I kept it in the familia. New executive consultant, Chavo Guerrero.
Oh, great.
Which is really cool. So Chavo comes out. He says, hey, this is the place to be. When I walked around backstage, I saw so much talent. What a great time to be a wrestling fan. And he says, but with all due respect, I don't see anybody that has as much talent as this man. So that brings out Death Triangle.
Yeah, so Death Triangle came out to the stage, yeah.
And he says, I don't know who you think you are, Andrade. Last week we heard our name in your mouth. For the record, let it be known that Death Triangle hides from no one.
Yeah. Andrade says, thanks for coming. Hey, guys, thanks for coming.
Hey,
but he says to Phoenix and Penta, they're good, but with Andrade, they could be great. He calls himself an elite superstar. Chavo takes over for a bit and says he's going to explain it to Pac. Says they're all talented, but he looks at their waists. It's not shiny enough. If they want to change that, then Penta and Phoenix need to listen to Andrade. And Andrade says, I got a question for Phoenix and Penta. Why do you work for Pac? And he says, now you work for me. And Pac says he doesn't know what planet Andrade is on, but Phoenix and Penta don't work for him. They're a family, a brotherhood. And then Phoenix takes the mic, says he and Penta are the real face of Latinos. Penta grabs the mic. Alex translates. I like that's getting over. Where Alex says, Penta says.
Penta says?
He says, why would they want to join a group with him, when they're not even, when Andrade's not even on their level? So they go get in the apron, kind of have a showdown, a face-off, and wrestling producers come and break it up.
A bit ballsy, a bit presumptive of Mr. El Idolo to come out and say, hey, guys, what's up? You work for me now.
You work for me now.
Like, look, we're not, no, there's definitely a problem with communication here because I don't think Andrade knows how hiring employees works.
Well, maybe this is just him trying to recruit them to join him. When that doesn't happen, he forms his own group.
Listen, here's the thing. Andrade, number one, I got freaked out when Pac started walking in front of his faction. Here's the deal.
Yeah, I know.
If you're in a faction and you're on the microphone, never walk in front of your faction, okay? Because somebody is going to get a chair out or a kendo stick, or they're just going to jump you. Never get in front of your faction. Number two, don't recruit people by saying, hey, what's up? You work for me now.
Yeah.
You get a T-shirt
not gonna work. Yeah.
with your logo on it, and you offer it up.
Yes. But
no amount of convincing, hey, your waist doesn't look shiny. No. It's this. Here's a T-shirt. Look at the cool logo.
What I'm trying to say is I think would be something if we get LIAEW.
Right. Yes. L-I Los Ingobernables de All Elite Wrestling.
Yeah.
That's good. So what do you think? So you think Andrade is going to get his own dudes? Or do you think Pac and Phoenix, Phoenix and Penta, wouldn't it be funny if it was Pac and one of the dudes and not like the obvious choice of Phoenix and Penta?
Or if it was just Pac.
Well, last week you said I work for you. I want a second paycheck because I'm already getting one.
Yeah, he's moonlighting in two factions.
Exactly. Yeah, I can do both.
So after that, we had a bit from earlier in the night. Hardy Family Office. They're beating up Marco Stunt and Jurassic Express. Christian runs out to make the save. We get a promo from Christian. He says, hey, Hardy Family Office, it took two of you to take out poor little Marco. And he says, I thought I was done with you, Matt Hardy, last week, but apparently not. We're going to finish it. I want a match next week. It's going to be Christian Cage, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus versus Private Party and Angelico. And yeah, Christian does all the talking. He's going to wear out his welcome with Jurassic Express real soon.
I wonder how that's going to go down because everybody loves all these guys, and I don't know. Maybe Christian should be a heel. Maybe
Yeah,
like
he could
him
easily
if he's a
turn heel. Yeah.
You think he's going to turn heel on these guys? There's like 2.5 of them.
But
really 3 because you can count Luchasaurus as like 2 guys, and then Marco Stunt is like half a guy, and then Jungle Boy's a dude.
Yeah,
he's one. Well, Luchasaurus, he's so tall.
No, I know.
Marco's
Marco's very
really
short. Yes,
he's really short.
Yes, I know.
And he's like he gets beat up by everybody, man. So next up we had like the fastest segment on the show was like 15 seconds long, which was hilarious because it's apropos. It belongs to the factory. They were being interviewed by Marvez. And QT Marshall's asked, hey, Marvez says, last week you poured a protein shake on Tony Schiavone's head. Very quickly tell me, are you going to apologize to him? And QT Marshall said, yeah, sure, next week. Basically, he said like a sentence. But
yeah,
he's
like, hey, Marvez, what are you looking nervous for? I'm not going to dump a protein shake on your head. But yes, I do owe Tony an apology, and it'll happen in the ring next week. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, look at Hugh Long Heavy's chat. It's funny.
No, I saw
Blade versus Orange Cassidy. Blade versus Orange Cassidy was next. Oh, this is what you get. This is what you guys are missing out on if you're not joining us for Twitch.
Yep.
So the Blade, Blade is pretty clever in this match. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised he didn't win because he gave a gut wrench bomb on the top turnbuckle to Orange Cassidy.
Amazing. Gosh,
that was insane.
I popped huge for that.
That was so unexpected. But to kick things off, he sort of plays possum and is able to get the ref distracted, putting OC in the corner, Orange Cassidy in the corner. So Blade goes up and he wrecks him with a kick or whatever. So Statlander and the Bunny get into it ringside. The Blade pulls Statlander in front of him as Orange Cassidy's hitting a suicide dive. And then Orange Cassidy is able to maneuver Blade so that he accidentally runs into the Bunny.
Mm-hmm.
Did I miss it? Did Orange Cassidy tend to Statlander at all? Like after that happened?
I didn't notice.
Because I sort of looked. I was like, oh wow, that was rough. And I looked down. I looked back up, and I'm like, why is he not tending to like Statlander? Like she's his good friend, maybe even more. Are they together? Are they like romantically linked? Do we know?
I don't know.
I thought maybe they were, but maybe not. I don't know. I don't know what people do. Anyways, Blade hits a corkscrew tombstone for 2. Orange Cassidy hits like the
finish. I don't know.
I know, right?
2 moves that should have been a finish,
right?
Yeah,
I know. Anyways, where are we in the finish here? So Bunny gets Blade the brass knuckles. Orange Cassidy evades that, hits an orange punch for 3.
Yeah, and then afterwards, Orange gets the brass knuckles after the match and hits Blade with an orange punch with those.
Oh, is that what it is? Caleb with a K is with Statlander.
Right.
Really? That's cool. That's a good-looking couple right there.
Then we get a Chris Jericho interview. His back's to the camera. And he says if MJF is going to bring the most demented man in the business in to face him, then he's going to have to bring out the most demented version of himself. He turns around. Says, next week, Nick Gage versus the Paidmaker.
Ooh, very exciting.
Yeah. Speaking of next week, our AEW title's going to be on the line, right?
Our? What does our mean?
I mean, it's in your possession, but it's our belt. We just trade it based on who picks things.
Yeah, legally speaking, if we ever dissolved as a company, this is probably a property that would be considered both of ours.
Correct. So in the legal sense, it is our title.
Yeah,
You're
but
just in possession of it at the current time.
It's mine.
It's yours.
If we ever broke up as a company, I think we'd probably just say, okay, who won predictions last for this title? Okay, you get to keep that. I think we'd just do that.
Or liquidate.
Yeah, we'd chuck it all in our storage facility and have Storage Wars come by.
So next week, Jericho versus Gage, Santana and Ortiz versus FTR. That's gonna be a tough match to call to pick a winner there.
Wait, which one? Oh, FTR versus LAX. Yeah, that's a toss up right there. I gotta watch that entire. I think here's the thing. I'm pretty sure LAX. That was not a fart. It was my chair. I'm pretty sure LAX is gonna win that just by virtue of the fact that Santana busts out a picture of his mom, of his teenage mom. That to me kind of says that Santana Ortiz is going to win, but I don't know. I'm going to have to watch that entire YouTube thing and see if there's any go home math on the YouTube clip.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Or watch Dark or Elevation next week.
Yeah, so Christian, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus taking on Angelico and Private Party, and then the winner of the U.S. title bout, Mox or Archer, versus, how do you pronounce his name again?
Hikuleu.
Thank you, Hikuleu. And then the Elite, Super Elite taking on Page and the Dark Order 5-on-5 match, elimination match. And then they announced that Tony Khan was going to announce a new live event.
A new live event? I thought it was going to be, okay, that's cool. Are they doing like a house show or something?
I don't know. And they also said at Homecoming, it's going to be Malakai Black versus Cody.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's pretty
I would have
massive.
figured that'd be all out, but nope. That's crazy.
That's how loaded All Out's going to be. They don't even have time for that match.
Right. Unless they do like a series.
That's possible.
But I don't know. Let's get back to Fight for the Fallen. Otherwise, except for FTR versus LAX, these are all sort of gimmies, aren't they? Like Jurassic Express has to beat Hardy Family Office. They got Christian on their team, unless it literally falls apart there.
No, I don't think so. I feel like Jurassic Express has to beat Hardy Family Office.
Dark Order's got to win that match.
Yeah, and Page, they got to win that match. So yeah, and Archer's going to retain. So
he's not dropping that title. So
it's got to be Santana Ortiz or FTR. I mean, they'll probably announce. They might announce another match or two between now and the actual show. So we'll do our picks. So.
We might have some more picks there. And then like you said, 2 weeks Malakai Black versus Cody for Homecoming, and then there was. So you said earlier in the show that Homecoming, it's going to be like they're going to be back at Daly's place for a little while.
Yeah, it's Daly's place. It's going to be at Daly's place, and I believe Excalibur said that it's their last trip there for a while.
It's the last trip at Daly's place for a while. Then they're back on the road.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. I don't really like Daly's place. And then they had like a video package for Malakai Black versus Cody. That was pretty well done. Yeah, that was well
good.
done.
And then we had our main event.
Holy crap, dude.
This was great.
This was great.
This was great.
So awesome.
Where to start? Let's start with the fork.
How about
I
when
guess.
Archer threw a person at Mox?
Then let's start near the beginning then. So yeah, they're out brawling in a crowd. They brawl up in the crowd a bit, back towards ringside when Archer throws a fan at Moxley. We get back to the ring. Mox clotheslines Archer out of it, goes for a suicide dive. Archer forearms him, peels back the mat's ringside, looks for a body slam or something. Mox escapes, hits a paradigm shift on the exposed floor. This busts open Archer. He's bleeding all over the place. While Archer's trying to get up and get back in the ring, Mox gets a fork and just starts jabbing it in Archer's head.
That was amazing. It was so brutal.
It was great. And he did it a couple times during the course of the match. So Mox gets two tables from the ring, actually set him up near ringside, kind of like he did at the Wrestle Kingdom match where they're right next to each other, right near like middle of the ring, ringside.
Yeah.
And he tosses some weapons in the ring, takes the fork to Archer again, chop blocks him, takes a chair to his leg, hits him with the dragon screw leg whip, puts the chair at his ankle, jumps off the second rope to stomp on it. Mox is looking to hit Archer with the trash can lid. Instead, Archer just punches the lid right into Mox's face.
Yeah.
They're trading some strikes. Mox ends up getting the advantage there. He bites Archer in his head where he's bleeding from. Hits a German suplex. Archer no-sells it. Hits like a ripcord boss man slam. Hits Mox with the trash can. Sets up a couple chairs. He's looking for a blackout through those chairs.
Yeah.
Mox escapes that. Low blows Archer. And so the chairs were facing each other with the front of the seats touching. And so Mox flipped it around so the backs of the chairs were touching. So there was like a hard ridge if someone were to land on them. And someone did when Archer chokeslammed Mox onto the top of the chairs.
That sucked. You know what was a really cool little bit of, I don't know what it'd be called, I guess storytelling, crowd manipulation, whatever. You know, Mox got some booze when he did the low blow.
Yeah.
He got the low blow, and that's setting up because at that point the match kind of switches, so you get the babyface win with Archer when typically Mox would be the babyface in this situation. Yeah. That's really fucking smart.
Also because it's Archer's hometown.
Yeah.
You know, that helps too. So Archer follows with the boot. He's looking for a cannonball. Mox counters with a lariat, then a paradigm shift. Ref starts counting. Archer's up at like 4.
Yeah.
He just pops right up. Middle fingers for Mox. Yeah. And then Mox come over, starts stabbing Archer with the fork again. And so Mox goes and gets those panels of barbed wire from under the ring, puts it on top of the tables. Archer's rolling out to the apron, and Mox is looking for a paradigm shift, but Archer grabbed the fork. Starts going after Mox with it. And then choke slams him through all those barbed wire, all the barbed wire tables for the win. Mox can't get up before the 10 count. It was pretty great. It's a fantastic match. Afterwards, Hikuleo walks into the ring to face off with Archer, and Archer says, "You want some? Come get some."
Yeah, boy, man, I marked out so hard.
Yeah, that's awesome for Archer. He needed a huge win. I'm so happy he got it.
For sure.
So happy he got it.
The the fork to the head stuff. It was like something you'd see in a prison movie.
It really was.
You know?
I know Mox, you hold it in your hand, so the tongs of the fork are like, they're not sticking out.
Sure.
But if you do it in such a violent manner, shit,
it just looks cool regardless.
Yeah,
like,
does.
I know they're not actually like doing it, but oh my God, it was awesome. What isn't faked is that choke slam on the chair back.
Yeah, you can't.
That
fake
sucked.
That. You can't kayfabe that.
That just absolutely sucked.
Remember that time it was Alistair versus Adam Cole, and Adam Cole ate a spot like that over 2 chairs.
Yeah, I know.
The same
I know. It's back when NXT was treated like a real brand.
Yeah.
It was assless.
Seemingly within WWE an afterthought.
Took my brand and just buried it. Anyways. Let's go ahead and answer some. Now I need a new brand, man. I guess it's AEW.
Yeah, come on, join me being an AEW shill, Steve. AEW's the best.
I'll be an MLW shill.
All right. What about Ring of Honor?
I'll be Jason. No. Let's answer some questions here. Oh, by the way, tomorrow numbers don't lie.
Yes.
Friendo Club TV, $5 a month. On Patreon, patreon.com/Stephen Larson, a Twitch sub or a YouTube channel membership gets you access to watching the show, hanging out, voting.
Survey is still open right now.
It is.
Let's
see here. Tom Anthony R. What's next for Britt Baker?
I don't know who's number one contender or who's next.
Whatever. Here, I'll look at the rankings.
No, I'm already on it. I don't think there's any videos playing.
All right. Let's see here. Statlander. Yeah, I'm thinking of like a bad. I mean, Britt, I guess Britt can be either a good guy or
so.
bad guy.
Just below Nyla Rose in the rankings is Thunder Rosa.
Oh yeah, she was there tonight. At least she tweeted a picture of herself there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'll be interesting what they do with Britt's character in terms of she could be either a good guy or a bad guy. She just is who she is. Yeah, Thunder Rosa. I don't know. You think it'd be likely they'd revisit that soon? I mean, that's an all-out match. That could potentially be an all-out match.
Yeah.
Jade Cargill. That's a big one.
That would be pretty huge.
That's a big one. I just think
she hasn't been on Dynamite Wrestling in a while.
That's just sort of the thing about the women's division is that there's not like just a line of people ready. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I don't know either. Yeah, maybe Britt will get her win over Rosa. That's a good point. Hugh Longheavy made that point.
White Brownie says, realistically, how close is AEW at catching up on both viewership and demo to SmackDown? It's got a ways to go before SmackDown. Now, if they bring in Punk and Daniel Bryan, it's still, especially if Raw is going to keep getting numbers like they did this week, they still got a ways to go to get there consistently. But if Raw settles back down to where they were, 1.5, and AEW keeps putting on awesome shows and they can get Punk and Bryan, give it some time, but they could be on the heels of Raw. They'd probably have a better chance of passing them on the 18-49 demo than actual viewership numbers, because they were really close last week. They were within 3 100s.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, what you just said sounds right. I don't know. I mean, WWE is doing themselves no favors by like alienating themselves from their hardcore base with all this NXT stuff. You know, like nobody wants to see Cross. I mean, I personally thought it was funny because I don't like Cross, But like nobody really wants to see that. Like any real NXT fan who's like really into it is like, oh man, Cross, he's a monster. And then they're not doing themselves any favors. But I mean, they aim for like a bigger thing than that, I guess, by bringing in the bigger names. You know, they could bring in, and they can keep on popping the ratings. You know, they still have like maybe Ronda Rousey would be interested. WWE seems to be able to go back to that to the short-term ratings boost ad nauseum. They seem to be able to continue to do that. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if this past week was just a ratings bump or if they're going to be able to continue that momentum to SummerSlam and through.
Yeah.
I don't know. But all AEW needs to do is just keep on making the right signings and telling the right stories.
Yep.
And, you know, even if it's 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, as long as they keep up what they're doing, they'll be competitive, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, really, as long as they keep their broadcast partners happy with their numbers and they can keep themselves afloat financially, you know, then they can just focus on telling the stories they want to tell, bringing the people they want to bring, developing younger talent to keep the company going into the future. And if they happen to catch up to Raw or surpass Raw, so be it. But I don't know if that's necessarily a concern for them right now.
I think it's probably like the cherry on top. You know, dude, it's probably like they're focusing on their business model. It obviously, Tony Khan is not the kind of guy who, you know, like Bischoff back in the day would put Hogan versus Goldberg on just to beat Raw that week in the ratings, you know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But, you know, if they keep on making good moves and continue doing what they're doing and getting, you know, a lot of buzz, then they'll get there eventually. But that'll just be a result of what they're doing as opposed to trying to do that thing.
Yes, exactly. Wild Bill says if Cody and Malakai is at Homecoming, then it feels like Cody's going to win. Unless it's like a DQ situation. No, Cody is not going to cleanly beat Malakai Black. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible there's a DQ situation, but I don't think that Malakai Black is going to start off his AEW career with the 0-1. I don't think that's going to happen. JTV says if you were to introduce a manager to be your consultant, wait, which? Let's see. Next week. Okay, so yeah, Homecoming is in August, right? It's
first thing of first week. Okay, first Wednesday of August.
JTV says, if you were to introduce a manager to be your consultant, which retired wrestler would it be? For me, it'd be Raven.
Good. Sid.
Oh, yeah, that's good. What advice do you think Sid would give you that's...
Oh, it's all softball related.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
That so happened to be my gimmick, so it's cool.
Softball player.
Yeah.
I mean, QT's his bowling guy, so...
Yeah, virtually.
Why not be softball guy? Let's see here.
Jorge D, with Cody abandoning QT and his jobbers for Malakai, they seem so lost. They never interacted with anyone outside of Cody, so they can't really start a feud with anyone. And Cody didn't let them get any wins, so they got zero momentum. They don't even win on Dark. Is there any way to fix them or just scrap them at this point?
Whoa, wait a second.
QT pinned Cody in a tag match.
They're in a feud right now with Tony Schiavone.
Well, that's more Tony Schiavone versus Protein Shakes.
That's a big deal. Tony Schiavone is a big deal, and that is a massive feud. That's an all-out main event level feud.
I can't argue with that.
You
try as I might. I can't
Tony Schiavone. Of course you cannot. Behind Best in the West says Black would lose his first match if it was against Jeff Hardy. Good point. Let's see here. Dog Authority figure. I kind of thought this too, but maybe... because it was specifically a Texas death match, Dog Authority figure says, since it was an IWGP US Championship match, shouldn't the ref have done a 20 count? So it wasn't a count out. It was a 10 count because it's a death match and it's the guy can't get up to his feet.
Yeah.
So that's different.
Yeah. Joe Lariato, live event could be a huge cross-promotion event maybe. Impact, New Japan, AEW, NWA.
Ooh, what if Tony Khan's going to announce Bound for Glory? Like they're participating. Yeah, the Super Show. They should call it, what was that Super Show back in the day that tried to compete with WrestleMania?
Oh, yeah.
Like Stars? That wasn't Stark. It was, what was it? What was it?
It's on the tip of my tongue, too.
There was like three, what was it? And that was one of the didn't Lawler win the title then, and like he kept it, and they were like, "Hey, give it back."
Yeah.
It was the super old school one, the Von Erichs.
Yeah. God, what was it called?
Super Clash. Was it Super Clash?
That sounds right. Could be it.
I think it was Super Clash. Floppy Dodger says AEW bounder for glory. Bound for even more glory. Steve Klain says, who from LIJ should appear on AEW and who are they feud with? Naito. If you're going to have somebody, have it be Naito.
Yeah.
And in fact, when he introduced Chavo, Heroes of Wrestling, part of me, I was like, dude, are they going to bring Naito out for this show? The show's already really stacked. Could you imagine if Naito showed up?
I mean, I couldn't, just because New Japan has a show in like 3 days. I think they're defending the tag title. So I was like, I know it's not going to happen.
Stranger things have happened. Yeah, Super Clash 3, that's what it was.
Yeah. Church says, after the show tonight, can you please check the Patreon inbox for me? I have a favor to ask.
Sure.
Sure thing.
Goldie says, kind of sucks Jeff Hardy is getting some heat for beating Cross. Jeff Hardy should be getting zero heat from anybody for doing anything. He did what he was asked to do. He's got a job, so he's supposed to do it. He is a Hall of Famer. He's one of the most influential wrestlers of all time. He should be getting zero heat from anybody. I have no idea why there'd be any, when I slander his name, it's simply because as a competitor in kayfabe, he lost to Veer on Main Event.
Yeah, totally.
Like a week ago.
Totally.
So he should not be pinning the NXT champion, even if his feet are on the ropes.
Yes.
But that ain't his fault.
Nope. Organ Grinder says, who do you think will be the next 2-time champ in AEW any title? FTR might be the 2-time tag champs before anybody else has a shot at being a 2-time champ elsewhere.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Yeah, because I don't think Darby's going to go back after that title, the TNT title. Black Mega Man says, so in Steve rankings, Jeff Hardy's above Christian Cage? Oh, 1,000,000%. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think objectively, yeah.
Jeff Hardy, yeah. His career has been stellar. Yeah. Absolutely stellar.
Rocco asks, who's going to take the tag titles off the Young Bucks?
It wouldn't shock me if that happened at All Out also with the Dark Order.
Yeah. Oh,
it would blow up if Silver and Reynolds took those titles.
Oh, apparently the 5-man team is going to be Page and then Grayson and Uno and then Silver and Reynolds. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, we'll end on this. Well, no, that's not even a question. Do we have one more question here on Twitch? Or are we good?
Deng MQ asks, should Ring of Honor join the Forbidden Door? If so, which wrestlers from Ring of Honor should appear? Deng MQ says, I want to see Roosh, Bandito, Jonathan Gresham, the Briscoes, PCO, Danhausen, Jay Lethal, and Tracy Williams, but not Matt Taven. I'd love to see Jonathan Gresham in AEW. You know the scene in Anchorman when all the anchor teams fight? The different news teams, yeah. And he's like, Channel 13, you guys have been in 4th place for 5 years. Oh, that's Ring of Honor, huh? You're going to be in dead place. That's going to do it for us, everybody. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later. Goodbye. Help support Going In Raw today by becoming a Friendo Club TV member. You'll get access to new bonus episodes every week, including Friendo Club Arcade, Live Power Rank, Vintage 10 for the Wins, and Ask Steven Larson. Get access to Friendo Club TV today by becoming a $5 and up patron at patreon.com/Steven Larson, by throwing us a sub at twitch.tv/Steven Larson, or by clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson.